Today we are going to explore how learning happens in a meaningful way. In Psalms chapter 119 verse 66, it says, "Teach me knowledge and good judgment, for I trust your commands." This verse reminds us that true learning is not just about receiving information, but about understanding and applying knowledge. In line with this, Jerome Bruner developed a theory that explained how learners actively build their own understanding through experience. Let us now look at Bruners theory of learning. Welcome. Who was Bruner? Bruner was a psychologist who focused on how learners actively construct knowledge, and his theory is based on learning by doing and discovery. And his central idea was constructivism, which meant that learning is an active process and not a passive process. Learners construct new ideas based on the prior or previous knowledge, and he believed and said that any subject or any concept can be taught at any stage if it is structured properly. So Bruner's instructional way was the discovery learning. Bruner said that learners understand better when they exploring on their own, when they investigate on their own, when they ask questions and find solutions themselves. And in this discovery learning, what will be the role of the teacher? It is to guide the students, to provide materials for them, and ask leading questions. Instead of explaining how plants grow, learners plant seeds and observe. So it is themselves who do that. They go to the garden, they dig out, they put in the seeds, and they look at how the plants grow from the beginning to maturity. So they investigate, they explore on their own, and in this is where Bruner said that they understand better when they do it. That is the discovery learning. Then we have Bruner's mode of representation, ways or forms of representation. And Bruner said that children learn in 3 stages. And the first stage is the enactive mode. It's also the action-based. And at this, learners learn by doing. For example, counting using their fingers, or when a teacher is teaching and she brings in concrete materials like sticks, like coins, like stones, and now this is action by doing. So they do something, they do it. This is the inactive mode. Then we have the iconic mode. That is also the image based, learning through pictures, using charts or even diagram. So this is when a teacher maybe brings in a chart of maybe animals, wild animals, and explains to them. Then there is the symbolic mode. That is the language based. This learning happens through words and symbols. For example, numbers, formulas, and language. And these modes of representation, they can be used at any stage. It doesn't matter what age, but as it can be used at any stage. Now, for example, like let us say like the chess players, it used to be for the people who are big, who are adults. But right now, it can be used at any stage. But if it is used in the right way, anybody can understand it. Now, that is the mode of representation of Bruner. Now, let us look at the last one. The spiral curriculum. Bruner, this is the principle in his curriculum, the spiral curriculum. And Bruner introduced the idea of spiral curriculum. Topics are revisited repeatedly, each time at a deeper and a more complex level. For example, when you teach simple addition in lower class, then later you will introduce fractions, and then later you will introduce algebra. This is the same concept but increasing complexity. You wouldn't start with a PP1 student, something that a grade 8 student is learning. No, you will start at a simple content, then concepts, then you will go later to much complex, then complex. So you will have to follow this is now the spiral curriculum, where topics are revisited repeatedly, and in this, children are able to understand the concept of what they are learning. Then what is the role of the teacher in Bruner's theory? A teacher is the facilitator and not the instructor. She or he is the facilitator, and the teacher encourages curiosity, thinking, and critical thinking and problem solving. So the teacher will encourage this. When, for example, you ask questions, so the learners will have to think critically, and they won't see it as anything as a problem, but they will see it as a challenge, so they will know how to deal with that. Then structures content properly for the students. This content that the teacher gives must align with the level of the students. Then provide scaffolding when necessary, so the teacher has to provide support for the students in when they are doing something. So that will be the role of the teacher. So what is the importance of Bruner's theory? The importance, number one, it promotes critical thinking. This one, now it promotes when the children are asked questions, when they are given an assignment, it promotes critical thinking. It encourages active participation. For example, when they do in the inactive mode, it encourages active participation from the learners, improves retention. For example, when they plant the trees, the plant from the beginning to maturity, they will see it with their own eyes, and this one will improve the retention. It builds problem solving skills, build confidence, and supports spiral curriculum. So this is what we learn about Bruners theory. And as we understand, it is all teachers should understand this, because once you understand this, the learning in classes will be easier for us and as teachers to facilitate and to apply it in all our classes. Thank you for your time, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos about child growth and development.